Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on the Plant Pair channel. Today I want to talk about training in your 30s and beyond and what I feel is one of the best ways to approach it. This is going to be a great video for people who don't necessarily love working out but still want to reap the benefits from it. When you were in your 20s, you might have had the time and desire to spend hours in the gym, experiment with complicated routines, or chase a big bench press max. But once you hit your 30s, life looks different. You might have a full-time career, maybe kids, more responsibilities, and honestly less time and less desire to waste it on things that don't matter. So in this video, I want to break down how to train effectively in your 30s and beyond, even if you're busy, even if you don't want to commute to a gym, and even if you don't want to buy a ton of equipment. The goal is simple: stay strong, stay moving, and stay capable without burning out or wasting your limited time. So what actually changes once you're in your 30s? First, recovery matters more. And not necessarily because your body suddenly breaks down, but because you've now got more on your plate. Work responsibilities, family, stress, less sleep, all of those things pile up and eat into your ability to bounce back from training. That's why recovery becomes even more important. It's not just about how hard you train, but how well you balance training with the rest of your life. Second, your time is now at a premium. Between work, family, and responsibilities, you often don't have 2 hours a day to mess around in a gym or commute 20 minutes each way. And third, priorities shift. When you're younger, you might chase getting huge and big strength PRs, but once you're in your 30s, the focus tends to shift towards longevity, energy, and feeling good in daily life. At least it did for me. You want to be able to keep up with your kids, avoid injuries, and still look like you take care of yourself without living in the gym. Now, don't get me wrong, gyms are great, but for most busy people, the gym is actually the biggest barrier to consistency, in my opinion. Think about it. You've got to pack your bag, drive there, wait for equipment oftentimes, and drive back. That's easily an extra 30 or 60 minutes out of your day, not even including the actual workout or if you hit traffic. So if you're over 30 and busy, the first mindset shift is this: you don't need a gym. You don't need racks of dumbbells, expensive memberships, or tons of equipment. You just need your body weight, maybe a pull-up bar, maybe some dumbbells, and the discipline to show up a few times a week in your spare bedroom or your hallway like me. Okay, so what should your training actually look like then? I believe the best approach for guys over 30 is full body workouts 3 times per week. That's it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever fits your schedule. Of course, there are a ton of other ways to structure your training that will allow for great results. But this is just my personal opinion of what can work really well for the vast majority of us. So why full body then? Because it's efficient. You hit every muscle group every time you train, so nothing gets neglected. It also means if life happens, and it will, and if you miss a day, you're still covered because you've already trained your whole body earlier in the week once or twice. Now, what do those full body workouts look like? They should be built around simple, compound movements done with high effort. A pushing movement like push-ups or dips, a pulling movement like pull-ups or rows with dumbbells, and a squatting variation like simple bodyweight squats or even split squats with your rear foot elevated. And all of these taken to or very close to failure. That's really important in my opinion. And that's the foundation. 4 moves, 1 to 3 sets each, and you've worked your entire body in 20 or 30 minutes. You can always progress by adding reps, slowing down your tempo, or just changing to a harder variation. But the base stays simple. One of the biggest mistakes people make after 30 is thinking they need to do more. More exercises, more equipment, more volume. But the truth is, simplicity is your friend. You don't need 10 different chest exercises. You need one good push movement done consistently. By stripping your training down to the essentials, you remove decision fatigue. You're not wasting time figuring out what to do or hopping around to different machines. You've got a clear plan, you execute, and you move on with your day. And trust me, with consistency, those simple movements will give you all the strength and muscle you want if your goal is to simply look like you train and feel good. Now, here's something that matters more after 30 than ever before: recovery. The older you get, the more important it is to respect your body's need to rest and repair. That doesn't mean you can't train hard. You absolutely can and should, but you've got to train smart. That means focusing on form. It means avoiding unnecessary ego lifting. It means making sure you're physically and mentally prepared to train before a session so you don't tweak something. And it also means giving your body time to recover between sessions and not going crazy on the volume. That's why I think 3 full body workouts per week is the sweet spot. It's enough stimulus to grow and maintain, and enough rest to recover fully. Here's what I love about this approach. It removes all the excuses. You don't need to commute to a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need 2 hours a day, or even 1 hour for that matter. Your workouts can be 20 to 30 minutes in your living room, your garage, or your backyard. If you've got kids, you can even let them join in. You can knock it out before work, on your lunch break, or before dinner. It's flexible, it's efficient, and it's sustainable. That's really the key. Fitness after 30 isn't about doing the most. It's about doing enough week in and week out. So let's put it all together here. If you're over 30, busy, maybe with kids, and you don't want to waste time or money, here's a solid formula you can follow. Do 3 full body workouts per week built around push, pull, and squat movements. Doing 3 sets per movement to failure. Keep it simple. Body weight is great. A pull-up bar, dumbbells, maybe some bands. Train for consistency, not perfection. Focus on good form and mastering the movements. And that's it. That's the playbook. You don't need complicated routines. You don't need hours in the gym, and you don't need expensive equipment. You need a simple, repeatable plan that fits into your life, not the other way around. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like the video if you made it this far, subscribe for more, and if you found this helpful, drop a comment below and let me know if you train at home or if you've been contemplating making the switch now that you're in your 30s and have different goals. All right, we'll see you in the next one.